into the harbor in Long Beach, California for CBS Sports' next stop on the Pro Bowlers Tour. Live from the Cal Bowl, it's the 1998 ACDelco Classic. Hello, everyone. I'm Gary Seibel, along with PBA Hall of Famer Marshall Holman. This is one of the most meaningful and one of the oldest stops on the PBA Tour, run by some of the all-time greats in bowling. But today, Marshall, we'll get a look at a young man who represents the new breed.
Well, you're absolutely right, Gary. Rookie Robert Smith has taken our number 3 seed in our shootout. He's a local kid, the hometown hero from Simi Valley, California. And if he was a baseball player, you'd say he has great stuff. He has the ability to throw the ball extraordinarily hard. Gary, not unlike a Roger Clemens fastball, and he certainly is one of the up-and-comers on the PBA Tour.
And today he'll be facing some of the more recognizable names on the tour.
You're right. Joining him in the shootout will be the number 2 seed, Ricky Ward, and our number 4 seed, Tim Criss. Ricky Ward is a smooth-stroking lefty with ice running through his veins. Give this man a chance in the 10th frame, and he'll leave you in his wake. And Tim Criss, this gutsy player, threw 3 clutch shots in the 10th frame of the final game last night to make it to the shootout by 1 pin. Criss has shown the consistency to be one of the best players on the PBA Tour. Now the winner of our shootout will take on the number 1 seed, Steve Hoskins. Hoskins is a power player who likes to throw the big hook. He led the Harrisburg Open a couple of weeks ago, but struggled to a 2nd place finish. He's looking to make amends here and take home his 7th PBA title.
And our champion today in the ACDelco Classic receives $52,000 from a total purse of $330,000, the richest of the season so far. We're set for our shootout round, and up first will be the 4th seed, Tim Criss, member of the PBA for 14 years, but bowled regionally for the first 6 years as a member of the PBA. Tim Criss, Bel Air, Maryland, a right-hander, 31 years old. And he begins the shootout round in the ACDelco Classic with a strike.
And playing the outside line, he's very close to the channel, Gary. That ball rolled over about the 5th board at the arrows, went out to about 2, and then hooked back into the pocket for a strong opening strike. Well, in the order of rotation, 2nd seed, Ricky Ward will bowl next. He'll be 30 years old next month. Ricky Ward from Fort Myers, Florida. The only left-handed today, and we've got another strike, Marshall. And Ricky Ward is very familiar with bowling on television. He's had a lot of appearances this year, and he's the confident player of this threesome.
And as you pointed out, Marshall, the hometown hero, the local favorite, Robert Smith from Simi Valley, just about an hour north of here. 24 years old, a 1998 PBA rookie. And he got a little bit of luck there getting that 10-pin kicked out.
Well, it was a great shot that he made. He threw the ball very, very good. Take a look at our CBS Mac Cam. Here comes the head pin. It's going to come over. There's your messenger getting out the 10-pin. Really a quality shot, and this man can make those pins scatter. Very important for him to get off to a good shot. Start, and he makes the spare.
And the epitome of a power bowler. The velocity on that spare ball.
Yeah, he gets it down there in a hurry.
Couple of strikes and a spare. First frame of the shootout. And Tim Criss gets it to fall over with a little bit of luck.
Well, that was a very fortunate shot. Not only did the 4-pin fall late, but that ball was left of his target. As we can see, take a look. The 4-pin is going to be nudged. It's down, it's up, and it's down. And the reaction from Tim Criss. Thank you.
Here's Ricky Ward. And Ricky Ward will leave the 9-pin. That's what he'll need to pick up in his 2nd frame, working on a strike, looking to convert the spare.
Now, Ricky just did not get enough of the head pin. Came in very, very light. Head pin went around the 3-pin, and the result was the 9. As he goes for his spare, shouldn't be any trouble for him.
So the 1991 Rookie of the Year picks up the spare in frame number 2.
Well, you can really hear this crowd. They are rooting for Robert Smith, the local player who has the ability to score very, very high games. You can see 279 high, 158 low.
He gets that ball down in a hurry. Marshall, it looked like it was a little bit high, but enough power to get it done.
Well, it was a very good shot thrown by Robert Smith. The ball actually entered the pocket just where he wants it, but he's got to be careful with that much power. If he comes in a little high, splits can certainly happen.
And Tim Criss will start out the third frame in our shootout round of the ACDelco Classic. He's working on a couple of strikes. He's been perfect, but right there on the head pin, leaving the big four, the 4, 6, 7, and 10.
Well, take a look as he punches right through the heart, leaving the 4, 6, 7, 10. And Gary, that's the main difference between the Brunswick Pro pins. They're a little heavier. It's not so much tough to knock them when you hit light, but when you go heavy, very seldom do you knock down the split.
And he'll pick up the 6-10. But unfortunately, that will be an open for Tim Criss. Ricky Ward, strike in the first, spare in the second, is up now in frame number 3. And a very solid shot from Ricky Ward.
A very calm and confident Ricky Ward, and I'm sure that shot that Tim Criss threw added just a little more confidence. Now, right now, Robert Smith coming up in the third frame. He has the opportunity to take a 10-pin lead over Ricky Ward with a strike here in the third.
This young man, first-team All-American at San Diego State University in 1994, and the U.S. Amateur champion in 93. And we're going to be back. We're through 3 frames in the shootout of the ACDelco Classic. Welcome back to CBS Sports coverage of the PBA Tour ACDelco Classic. We're in the shootout round, and the young gun, Robert Smith, has the lead. Now for the Alka-Seltzer Friday night recap, where the position round determined who made today's TV finals. Steve Hoskins, big night Friday, won 7 of 8 matches to go from 4th to 1st.
And Danny Wiseman, bowling in the 10th, left 1 pin standing and opened the door for Tim Criss. All Tim Criss needed to do, well, 3 strikes in the 10th frame. He does it, and he makes it into the shootout by 1 pin.
And veteran Ricky Corona came from the clouds, had some big games on Friday night, falling 17 pins short of the show. And that's this week's Alka-Seltzer Friday night recap. It's been a great tournament this week, and helping to spearhead that effort has been Tom Muller, general manager here at Cal Bowl. Good job, Tom, and everybody else involved. Frame number 4 is up next in the shootout round, and Tim Criss will lead it off.
Now trying to make a comeback after throwing that big 4 in the 3rd frame. Needs to settle his nerves, make a quality shot, get right back into this match.
Move the 10 pin a little bit. Looked like a half 10, Marshall.
That's exactly what it was, Gary. Left a little bit of just didn't quite get full enough in the pocket. You take a look at Tim Criss, ball over the second arrow, going out to almost 2, comes in half pocket into the pocket. Doesn't quite get the roll of the 10 pin. He's rooting for that messenger.
And Tim will convert the spare in frame number 4. Still finds himself down after opening up with a couple of strikes in the shootout round. Robert Smith, the hometown favorite, on top. Ricky Ward 10 down to Smith.
He could tie it up right here, Gary, with a strike here in the 4th frame. We got a tie ball game.
Catch the PBA Tour online. You'll get the latest tournament results and features, plus stats, bios, and chat live with the pros on www.pbatour.com. Sponsored by Brunswick. Robert Smith, the young man, but he's well-traveled. He's been in the Middle East, Southeast Asia, Singapore, Bangkok, Malaysia. All part of the Team USA between ages of 18 and 23. And Marshall,
now let's
Split chicken wing it here or something.
And I talked about it earlier. Take a look at this release. Really comes through the ball hard, but he came in just a little bit high. As you can see, the ball cutting through, leaving the 4 and the 9. Robert Smith is best when he hits light in the pocket. He gave it a good effort. Needed to get a little less of the 4-pin to slide it into the 9. And right now, that puts Ricky Ward back into the lead. So far early in this match, Gary, everybody has had the lead. Tim Criss had it for a while. Robert Smith had it for a while. Now Ricky Ward, he's leading.
Tim Criss back on track now. Picks up the strike in frame number 5, keeping this close.
Well, he's 18 pins behind Ricky Ward.
And Ricky Ward working on a couple of strikes, looking for a 3-bagger right now. Attended Edison Community College, majored in business administration, but leaves the 6 in frame number 5.
Just a little bit too much of the head pin as this ball goes into the pocket. Doesn't get the friendly trip, and the 6-pin stands. Now, Ricky's the kind of player who's going to make a lot of quality shots. Not a real flashy player, but certainly consistent.
Won this year in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Coming up next on CBS Sports, tennis legends Jimmy Connors and Bjorn Borg meet in the semifinal of the Challenge from Newport Beach, California. That's coming up next right here on CBS Sports. And the winner will face John McEnroe, who defeated Yannick Noah yesterday. The championship will be tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. Ricky Ward in the lead, Robert Smith. Got a bit of luck there, Marshall.
Well, he almost left the same 4-9 split that he left in the previous frame. As I said, you must keep the ball light on these heavier pro pins, especially when you throw the power of a Robert Smith. 4-pin falling very, very late, leaving nothing but the 9. Should have no problem making this. Like when he shoots it as fair, he hurts him.
Ricky Ward, 13 over Robert Smith, 17 over Tim Criss. We're through 5. Set to begin the 6th frame in our shootout round of the ACDelco Classic.
Tim Criss, the only bowler who struck in the 5th frame, has the opportunity to cut that lead by 10 with a strike here.
Marshall, he answered the challenge with a big hook.
Now take a look as this ball goes well out to the right, out to the 3rd board, and really drives in hard. 6-pin goes to the sideboard, knocks out the 10-pin. There's a double for Tim Criss.
And Ricky Ward hanging tough. He'll pick up the strike as well. Tim Criss presently working on 2. Ward with a single. And now Robert Smith has to stay close.
Well, probably important for Robert Smith to make a little bit of an adjustment. He's coming a little high the last 2 frames. Needs to give that power ball some room. It's wide. That's what he's looking for.
2 veterans and a rookie battle it out in the shootout round of the ACDelco Classic. Today's trip down memory lane takes us back 4 years ago here at the ACDelco Classic, as Norm Duke defeated amateur Robert Smith for the title. It was Duke's first of 5 wins in 1994 as he went on to earn Player of the Year honors.
And Robert Smith once again with an opportunity to win here at the ACDelco.
And Tim Criss, Ricky Ward, Robert Smith locked up in a battle. Right now, Ricky Ward is on top, 7 over Tim Criss, 13 pins over Robert Smith. Tim Criss now in frame number 7. Criss can take the lead here with a strike.
Gotta hurry. And what a great break. That truly is a wonderful break. Hits extraordinarily light. Head pin goes to the sideboard, hits the 4-pin into the 2-pin. And he knows it's not a good shot. Oh my gosh, what did I just do?
Ricky Ward now.
Finds himself down by 3 pins. He can go back to a 7-pin lead. Once again, the the same 6-pin he left a couple frames ago, Gary. Has to give the ball a little more room. Dove a little bit high into the pocket. Too much of the head pin. Does not kick out the 6. Making quality shots, Gary, but really needs to put a little more pressure on Tim Criss.
Ricky Ward will convert. Leaving it now for Robert Smith, who's working on a strike. 16 down is Robert Smith. And once again, Tim Criss now is in the lead. He's got 3 pins over Ricky Ward.
Well, something must have disturbed Robert Smith. And I'll tell you what, that takes a little bit of strength to get up there in your last step and stop it. That's a 16-pound ball, but no problem for the strong Robert Smith. Needs to regroup himself. You know, it's very important to start everything over again.
Marshall, to see that from a young bowler, I think it's kind of unusual to stop in the middle of his inning. Well, it seems to have worked.
Very, very well done by the young Robert Smith, and the crowd is going nuts for him. Take a look at the release. Look at the eyes. Little intensity.
And obviously the right move for Robert Smith. Something was not right, as Marshall pointed out. He stopped, regrouped, picked up the strike. And Tim Criss now with a 4-bagger, putting the pressure on the other 2 bowlers.
Well, he's really doing right as he left off yesterday with 3 strikes to make it by 1 pin. Today, he's still rolling the ball strong. This is the perfect shot. Every pin takes care of each other.
Ricky Ward leaves the 7-pin.
Well, Ricky Ward with a spare here in the 8th frame can strike out for 228. Still has the possibility to win this game, but needs to get it going next frame.
Well, the season finale of the CBS Sports coverage of the PBA Tour comes to you from Hollywood Bowl in Portland, Oregon. It's the PBA Oregon Open next Saturday, CBS Sports Spectacular, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Tim Criss, 4 strikes. He's got to falter somewhere along the line, Marshall. One of these guys to slip through. And it's not going to happen with that kind of shot. Robert Smith leaves the 3, 6, 7, 10.
Very unfortunate. Did not get it off his hand clean, and here it is, high on the head pin. You just don't break down too many splits with the heavier pro pins, and he knows as soon as he let the ball go that that was a very, very big error. Very makeable split. Needs to get to the right of that 3-pin. And a little too far to the right. All right, come on. That's going to make it very, very tough for Robert Smith to come back from. The best he can do with strikes in the 9th, 10th, 11th would be 208.
Tim Criss will start things out in frame number 9. Marshall, a lot of bowlers have lofty goals, want to be PBA Player of the Year, want to make $1 million. Tim's is very unassuming. His goal, to make a living bowling.
Well, he's doing it. If this ball stops, that was very fortunate for Tim Criss. He knows he got away with one, leaving only the 9-pin. The ball came in very, very high. As we take a look, you can see the 4-9 standing. Very fortunate to have the pin fall. The 4 pins down, just the 9-pin. As we see the reaction, he's hoping, he's praying a little bit, and got a pretty good break. Good spare shooter, should be no problem. Makes the 9-pin. But really, he does open the door up for Ricky Ward by not striking in the 9th frame.
Score here in the shootout round. And Tim Criss in charge right now.
Must have this to set things up for the 10th. And look at that, Gary. That's very similar to what Robert Smith did on the right-hand side of the lane. Ricky Ward comes in high, right through the heart of the pins. He leaves the 2, the 4, the 6, and the 7. And late in the game, he really needs to give this a run. He needs to hit on the left-hand side of that 2-pin. Knock it into the 6. And a couple of gifts for Tim Criss as he finds himself in very, very good position going into the last frame.
Tim was so strong last night, Friday night, in match play, eating 3 strikes in the 10th frame and just coming through all the pressure.
It was exciting. I was sitting right there watching him, and I've seen him do that before. He's a clutch player. Right now, Robert Smith needs to muster a little bit of magic.
Much better than last night. Want that one back. I want that one back.
Tim Criss needs 9 pins on this ball, and that would lock things up. Throw him into the title game.
And that'll do it.
Now there's your winner, Gary.
Tim Criss came through in the clutch Friday night, and he does it again today.
Just trying to keep his momentum. Get ready for that next match.
And when it's going well for you, Marshall, it's going well.
He's got the pins falling his way. A very happy Tim Criss knows he's got a little more work to do, as this is one of the most important titles on the PBA Tour.
Shootout round in the ACDelco Classic. He'll be back for more, this time against Steve Hoskins, head-to-head in a moment. Welcome back to CBS coverage of the Pro Bowlers Tour. Our final score, Tim Criss advances with a score of 230. He'll meet Steve Hoskins in the championship match. If Tim Criss or Steve Hoskins rolls a 300 game in the championship match, he'll receive a $1 million bonus courtesy of the Showboat Hotel, Casino, and Bowling Center in Las Vegas. Well, in addition to our top 4 seeds today, 20 other finalists made it to match play this week. Just missing the telecast by 1 pin, finishing 5th, was Danny Wiseman, who is starting to return to the form that won him 2 PBA titles in 1995. Checking in at number 11, Walter Ray Williams Jr., the 4-time Player of the Year, picked up his 1997 award as the sports points leader last night. 13th place, Bob Learn Jr. He found himself in the hunt early in match play, but couldn't hang on down the stretch. And at number 20, Rick Steelsmith of Wichita, Kansas, who was presented the 1997 Steve Nagy Sportsmanship Award on Friday night. And finishing 23rd, rookie Chris Barnes, a highly decorated amateur looking to make his mark on the PBA Tour. Parker Bone III did not make our final 24, but he's on top the money leaderboard with 3 titles in 1998, $114,000. Walter Ray Williams Jr. is behind. In every sport, athletes have what they consider the tools of the trade. Bowlers are no different. Here's Marshall Holman with our tip of the week.
Every professional athlete has their trade secrets, and professional bowlers are no exception. Today, we're going to give you a look in the bag to see what tricks you might steal from the pros. Probably the most common ingredient or product you'll find is anything that will help keep your hand dry. Personally, I go with your basic rosin, which works well to fight moisture and slippage. The other prominent extras include powders to accentuate your slide and brushes to help diminish your slide. Tape, electrical, or adhesive compensates for the swelling and the shrinkage of your fingers. And a skin patch works as a buffer between the ball and your skin. It prevents cuts and blisters. There really isn't a must-have with respect to what you bring to your game. Bowlers will have anything from beveling knives to rat-tail files. And if you look in enough bags, I'll bet you even find a rabbit's foot or 2.
So who will have the luck on his side? Well, coming up, the championship match in the ACDelco Classic between Tim Criss and Steve Hoskins after this message and a word from your local station. Welcome back to the 1998 ACDelco Classic as we prepare for the championship match. At the head of the pro pins for the first and fifth frames of this championship match is the Bud pin. If either bowler strikes during these two frames, Budweiser will make a $1,000 contribution to the PBA Tour Foundation. Tim Criss, Steve Hoskins is set to go head-to-head in the championship match of the ACDelco Classic. $52,000 first prize on the line. And that's $1,000 to the PBA Tour Foundation, courtesy of Budweiser, as Tim Criss starts off very well in the championship match.
And our first look today at Steve Hoskins. Watch the high backswing. A short man who develops the power with that backswing. Big hook, out and back.
And that's another $1,000 to the PBA Tour Foundation, courtesy of Budweiser. So a good start for both of our bowlers in the championship match. Of course, Steve Hoskins, the top seed in Mechanicsburg, the Greater Harrisburg Open, failed to get the job done here. He's got another opportunity just a few weeks later.
Well, he's a player that can put adversity behind him. He's not thinking about what happened a few weeks ago. He's concentrating on what's going on right now. And his first shot looked very good. Let's see how he looks on lane 33.
And a solid 9-pin for Steve Hoskins, Marshall.
And really a shot that very well could have struck. Look how close the ball comes to the 9-pin. He knows it's a strike right now. He knows he struck. Oh, what is going on?
Steve was PBA Rookie of the Year in 1989. Tomorrow, the CBS Sports Spectacular takes you to the city of New Orleans for the U.S. Outdoor Track and Field Championship. You'll see some of our nation's premier athletes competing, including Marion Jones in the women's 200 and Maurice Green in the men's 100. That's tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern on the CBS Sports Spectacular. Seven-pin lead for Tim Criss.
And another shot that looked good off his hand. Ball comes in just a little bit light. The pins are starting to scatter. Something ran interference on the 4-pin, and the 7-pin stands. He's hoping it's going to get there, and a light hit usually strikes. What's going on here?
And Criss does convert in frame number 2. He and Hoskins begin with identical scores, and they are dead even right now for 2.
Tim Criss bowling very well today. He's hit the pocket in every shot he's thrown so far in the opening couple of games, except for one time. So really very confident on these lanes. He's got the line, knows what he needs to do. Let's just execute, get it done. But after that big build-up, he leaves the 2-pin. And Gary, he was very fortunate just to leave the 2-pin. Take a look as the ball comes in, very light. Look at the 2-pin, look at the 10-pin, and it looks like he's going to have to shoot this. But wait a minute, here comes some help for the 10. Takes what could have been a very difficult split and makes it an easy 2-pin conversion.
Steve Hoskins, a slender 1-pin lead. Steve attended St. Petersburg Junior College.
Just didn't quite get the projection out onto the lane. That ball was on the lane a little early. Ball hooked high. But take a look at Steve Hoskins' form. Look how high the backswing is. Almost over his head, Gary. Just did not quite get the ball far enough down the lane. The ball started hooking too early. He leaves the 4. Now to pick it up. And no problem.
Follow all your favorite sports and get updated scores and stats on the net. CBS Sportsline has exclusive columns and video highlights, plus interviews, chats, and more. Go to cbs.sportsline.com. Marshall, you know, Steve Hoskins won the first ever mini arena setting, which is what we have here at the ACDelco Classic back in Pittsburgh in 1997, so he, in fact, is used to this format.
Well, he's comfortable with the format. He wants to get some strikes so he can start getting the crowd going in his favor. Comes in even higher, the 4-pin and the 10-pin, as we see once again, don't hit high in the pocket. You're gonna leave a split. Needs to get the ball to the left-hand side of the 4-pin, knock it into the 10. Difficult split. Can he do it? Look at that! There's some fire in Steve Hoskins.
And Marshall, the kind of thing that'll get a guy ready to go for the final 5 frames.
This will really energize you. This is an extraordinarily difficult split to make. He gets it done, and there's some fire from Steve Hoskins. Tim Criss, he's got a 2-pin lead as he shoots in the 4th frame.
Now, if either bowler strikes here in the 5th frame, $1,000 will be donated to the PBA Tour Foundation, courtesy of Budweiser. To date, $18,000 has been donated to the PBA Tour Foundation, courtesy of Budweiser. Tim Criss working on a strike, and it's nip and tuck right now.
He's got a 2-pin lead. The strike here will take it up to 12. It's got to stop, though. Not a good shot.
Marshall appeared to be high on the head pin.
Well, it was, and the reason it was high is because he did not get the ball down the lane far enough. The ball was set down early on the lane. It hooked early, and there you go, right through the nose. Important to just maintain the form, pick up this spare. He'll still be 2 pins up. And this spare right here is the very spare that enabled Tim Criss to make it to our top 4. That's what Danny Wiseman missed last night in the final game.
Tim Criss, 2 pins over Steve Hoskins, and Marshall, we know how quickly that can change.
Well, certainly. Let's see what kind of energy Steve Hoskins got from that last split conversion as he moved deeper in on the lane, really throws the ball far to the right. Little bit lost right now.
And the 2-8 leave for Steve Hoskins, the 8-pin sleeper behind. Again, very tight. If we should end in a tie after 10 frames, we'll have a sudden death, 1-ball roll-off.
Certainly do not take this spare for granted. And he makes a very good shot, picks up the 2-8, but he's wondering right now, what kind of adjustments do I have to make? I'm coming in a little high, I'm coming in a little light. Tim Criss seems to be lined up, just made a bad shot in his last delivery.
One shot. Come on, Steve.
Now, Criss is the one that's got the 1 game under his belt, which is always an advantage. But Steve Hoskins has won before from the #1 spot. He's looking to do it again here in one of the most prestigious events that we have on tour.
11 years on the PBA Tour. Steve Hoskins, 6 national titles. And Steve leaves the 4-pin in the 6th.
Well, Hoskins started out this game with a strike, but it's been since the 1st frame. Since he's thrown one, this will be his 5th consecutive spare.
Well, we are in the championship match of the ACDelco Classic, and it is close. Tim Criss up by 5.
Well, both the bowlers are struggling a little bit, Gary, in the last 6 shots. These 2 guys have missed the pocket 4 times, so they need to shore up their games. That's got to hurry back. Here it comes in the pocket 7-10 split. Take a look as the ball comes in the pocket just fine, but the 5-pin goes behind the 7. 6 lays in the channel. It's a 7-10. And truly, just a monumentally bad break.
You know, Marshall, the crowd chanting Turtle, which is Tim Criss's nickname. To no avail there. The most difficult of all to pick up the 7-10. Picks up the 7, leaves the 10, and may leave the door wide open here for Steve Hoskins.
Well, he did leave the door open for Steve, but Steve needs to figure out a way to get himself back in the pocket. As you can see, Tim Criss now down by 8 pins. Has to put that bad break behind him. Hang on, ball.
Well, from a terrible break to a great one.
You know, it's really kind of a funny game. You throw the ball right in the pocket, you leave the 7-10 split, you make your next shot, it goes almost through the nose, and you trip out the 4-7-10.
Steve Hoskins, a possible 234. And that's the first step on that road to a possible 234, Marshall.
Well, he's made the proper adjustment. I'm sure he was talking with his ball rep. As we were in commercials, we take a look. Look at the ball inside the 4th arrow, all the way out to about 10, and back high flush in the pocket. And just a magnificent shot and timely. As you can see him say, one more baby. With a strike here, he would take this to an 18-pin lead and really put the pressure on Tim Criss.
This year, the tournament leader 7-7 in the final match.
There's the power of a Tim Criss. Tim Criss and Robert Smith both have the ability to get the ball to come back from a very, very wide angle, and he just splatters the pins over. You can see he's just trying to calm himself down now as we take a look at Tim Criss. He's also working on a strike, can cut that 18-pin deficit to 8 with the strike here in the 8th frame. The lane he left the 7-10. And no 7-10 that time, Gary.
Strong shot from Tim Criss, who's now recorded back-to-back strikes, but still finds himself down 8 pins to Steve Hoskins.
And here we go. It's a 2-frame game for these guys. Tim Criss, if he were to strike here in the 9th frame, he would take the lead. But Steve Hoskins, he has control of his destiny. If he were to strike out, this is his tournament to win.
The cry of Turtle.
It works. That's a 2-pin lead for Tim Criss. It seems when this man needs it the most, he's able to come through and make the shot. Absolutely dead solid perfect, and he knew it as soon as it left his hand.
Steve Hoskins has to answer, and he does.
Couple of confident players really getting it done late in the game. This is what the fans came to see.
Steve Hoskins needs 2 strikes and 3 pins to win.
Well, he can get those 3 pins, Gary, but the 2 strikes are going to be the tough part. This is all a Pro Bowler can ask for. He has the opportunity going into the 10th frame in the final game of the tournament to throw a couple of strikes to lock up the victory. Oh, it just held on. That ball looked high off his hand, but it stopped hooking in the back end. One more strike for Steve Hoskins. Take a look, Gary. Watch this ball as it goes inside the 4th arrow around 22 board. Now, right now, it looks like it's going to hook high, but it stops. He's not sure. Hoskins made the great comeback this game after going frames 2 through 6 without throwing a single strike. He's put together 4 strikes in a row. Once again, a little distraction. He puts his ball down, picks it back up, starts the routine all over again. Very important to keep that pre-shot routine, to make you comfortable enough to be able to go up and throw the strike. There's your champion.
And Steve Hoskins has done it.
Take a look. This is the shot to win the tournament. And not a better shot could he throw. He knows this is 52,000. This is the ACDelco Championship. And there he goes. He got enough pins. He did the job. Got it all taken care of. There's your champion, Steve Hoskins.
Our 1998 ACDelco Classic winner. Disappointment at the Harrisburg Open. Redemption 3,000 miles away in Lakewood. Welcome back to the 1998 Delco Classic, and Steve Hoskins, 28 pins to the good over Tim Criss to take the championship.